This took place more than a decade ago. I started working for a small branch of a company and got along really well with my boss, the branch manager, and used to compare him to Michael Scott, not to his face. I would have been Jim Halpert in this scenario. After working there for a while, my boss was approached with an awesome offer to go manage a bigger branch a few hours away. This was because the owner wanted to place his son as the branch manager of a small location and needed to vacate a position to do so. My boss graciously turned down the offer. His kids had just started at their new schools and he didn't want to uproot them again. He'd relocated to take the current position. This was not taken well by our corporate office, but they couldn't fire him for it. Not directly. A few weeks later, I saw our office manager, a lady nobody in the office liked, in my boss's office filing paperwork, or so it seemed, which was odd but not alarming. The next week, my boss was going to be on vacation, and all the office staff had to attend a meeting for non-salaried employees at the corporate headquarters. While we were at the corporate thing, our office manager handed out new office keys to all of us, 3, that were there. My boss was on vacation and salaried. I asked, "Why are we getting new keys?" And she said it was because someone lost theirs. None of us had lost our keys. We were all sitting together and could easily confirm this. So I texted my boss to ask him, and he had no clue what she was up to. I got a bad feeling about what was happening. I called him after the meeting and told him to come by my house Sunday when he got back from out of town. I explained that I was 95% certain they were planning to fire him Monday. I didn't know what reason, I just had a gut feeling. I said it was too bad because if he was fired, I wouldn't want to work there anymore knowing that they would do shady stuff like that. He, jokingly, said that he should fire me first so I could go on unemployment. I laughed and told him that he should write me a termination notice, and then if he doesn't get fired on Monday, it would be just between if he does get fired, I could take it to the unemployment office and have proof that I was fired for something that would make me eligible for benefits. So we did, and he was fired Monday for misfiling paperwork of some sort. And I definitely did not go back to work. They tried calling me in, and I told them that my boss had fired me already. I took the proof with me to the unemployment office and was good to go, until they, former employer, disputed my claim. I had a hearing on the phone with the unemployment office and my corporate HR person. HR, he wasn't fired. The paperwork he submitted with his claim isn't the right paperwork. It should have come from HR, not his manager. Unemployment. Why did the manager not do that then? Where is he? HR. He no longer works for the company. Unemployment. Why did he leave? HR. He was fired. Unemployment. Why was he fired? Getting exasperated. HR. Mumbles. For doing paperwork incorrectly. Unemployment. Well, that is hardly the fault of the terminated employee. How is he to know that the paperwork is invalid that is coming from their supervisor? They told my HR that they could rehire me or not, but my claim was valid. They couldn't rehire me because they'd already filled the position. So I got to collect unemployment for a while before moving on to my next job. My former boss is doing well now, it seems, and I don't feel bad at all. For the record, it is very likely that they would have invented a way of firing me after they got rid of my boss. Had they done that, they would have made certain that my termination was such that I wouldn't be eligible for unemployment. I took that power away from them by getting fired preemptively. I am also positive that when I saw the office manager in his office while he was away, she was arranging the setup for him to be fired. Comment. It's smart to get out when you see things start coming down the pipe. I worked for a large corporation that was bought out by a larger one who wants everyone to think they have the best when it came to buy. Anyway, after firing both or our VPs without notice, they moved on to start shutting down all of the stores. But since our state had some pretty worker-friendly termination laws, one by one the store managers in my district, some who had been in their stores for more than a decade, started being arrested for theft. They would be handcuffed and escorted through the mall and ended up sitting in jail for a couple days before they were released with no formal charges being filed by the new company since, well, they hadn't stolen anything. It was just a way to get around our state's termination laws and not have to pay unemployment or severance. After half the district went to jail, everyone else bailed, and sure enough, all those stores closed soon thereafter. I kept in contact for a while with a few who got arrested, and they had a heck of a time finding a new job since everything is online, and when they would submit their resume, it would ding that they were terminated for theft. OP reply: that is way worse than what they did to my former boss. How slimy would you have to be to fraudulently have people arrested just so you could fire them? Was this Karen Corp? Comment: damn. Do you know if your boss had to relocate again? For the sake of his kids, I hope not. OP reply: he started his own company. I don't think it succeeded, but I'm friends with him on Facebook and he seems to be doing well now. Comment: so if they admitted that the old boss was fired in the HR meeting, I wonder if the termination for cause, misfiling paperwork, could have been overturned and the old boss could have gotten unemployment. OP reply: the way they framed my old boss was by, from my understanding, claiming that he had misfiled or lost some important paperwork that could have created a very big liability for the company. They never disputed that during my hearing. In fact, they stuck to it and made my case even stronger. Comment: yeah, fuck office politics and nepotism. I got shafted out of a job once because my manager wanted to kiss up to his own boss. So, in a job based on only special events, he threw out the supervisor with 24/7 availability for the 16-year-old who had very minor weekend availability. Then a year later, the boss's boss got fired and he showed the kid the door. The next was a pretty shitty place to work, and I now work for that company's main competitor. OP reply: I had a boss fire me for a petty personal reason once, and was hired so quickly by a competitor that when I went to pick up my last check, I was in my new uniform and driving my new company truck. Comment: this sounds like revenge by way of unemployment insurance fraud. Like, whatever reason your boss gave in the firing was not true, that you were actually fired just in case he was fired. OP, you might seriously consider removing the post, as if it is recognized by someone you and your former boss might be on the hook for some legal consequences. OP reply: I think I'm solidly outside the statute of limitations. This was a long time ago. Comment: why does it sound like so many companies care if their employees are eligible for unemployment benefits? We have always gone out of our way to ensure someone was eligible for benefits, except in worst cases of employee incompetence. OP reply: prior to this situation, I didn't think they would even know that I had applied for benefits. It wasn't until they contested it that I realized it had an impact on the business when it came to how they were taxed for unemployment insurance. Comment: foreigner here with no real clue about how work and unemployment function in the US. Please have mercy. So where I come from, unemployment benefits are paid for by a state insurance, and the firing company could not care less. There are ways to lose one's job that result in being ineligible for benefits, but as far as I know, companies do not do that without severe reasons. Think of being terminated for cause. And do not do this just to spite their ex-employee. Or at least I hope so in my naivete. So my question is this actually different in the US? Is there an actual incentive, like financial or something, for corporations to fire their people in such a way that they cannot collect unemployment benefits? Why did that company try to dispute OP's claim? Why are they even in the communication chain for such a claim? Why is it any of the former employer's business whether their former employee makes a claim or not? They made a real and actual effort with that hearing, so what was in it for them there? Was it just spite and an additional oomph of assholishness? OP reply: the company pays into a state fund, but the amount they pay depends on the amount of claims that are made by their former employees. So companies that have a lot of people claiming unemployment after working there will end up paying a lot more into the fund. Comment: the wonderful thing is that they didn't pay your benefits. Taxes pay that. You might have contributed to them having a higher tax rate, but also that they gave your former boss a cause for civil action against them by telling you why he was fired. Comment: the same happened to me this past year, lol. My favorite boss in the entire world was fired very unethically and abruptly for something that wasn't even his fault. I was accumulating a lot of emotional stress from being harassed by one of their employees and taking the fall for my coworkers' mistakes, so I asked for a 2-week leave and then quit the day I came back. It was horrible. I loved that job so much. The sad thing is, my boss had a feeling he was going to be fired. I told him, in front of his boss and everyone else, that if he was fired, I would quit immediately. Cue the shocked Pikachu face when I actually quit the way I said I would. Please leave your story in the comments. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to get new update. Thank you.